Hello guys, a little disclaimer here. We're going to be talking about a bit darker stuff than we usually do on the channel, but other than that, I think we're all good to go. Enjoy the video. Hello guys, I just wanted to do an opening remark here on what we're going to be doing today. So this is my first theory video of the channel so far. So we're going to be talking about the ancient people of Hubert. And if you make fun of the way I pronounce it, screw you. So let's work on this together. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention I scripted this on a Google Docs. I'm just going to be reading off the docs, and for now, listen to my ambience of this. So hello, we are going to be talking about the ancient people of Hubert today, and here we can see beyond the reaches of French Guiana, somewhere around Barbados, lies an island forgotten by time and corporate, because it is not just filled with dinosaurs, but it was at one point filled with an ancient tribe that we are going to call the Ketzali. Now, let's take a look at these lost people of Hubert. So, now we can see here that if you've watched Jurassic World Rebirth, and you're watching it right now in the trailer, that there is a temple that was created by the Ketzali. And the Ketzali created these temples to worship the skies by the waterfalls, which seemed godly. Now, let's see. There are no signs of any life near the temples. Now, we can say that it's all abandoned, which it most likely is. But let's look at all the scenarios and theories for what happened to the people of the Ketzali. The first theory we have is the most obvious: colonization. The French, Dutch, or Spanish, or anyone who conquered the Antilles before, discovered the island. They wiped out and assimilated the native people with intention or inintention, and it's a pattern that we see all across history. But on Hubert, there is a problem because there are no evidence in the movie of colonists. Maybe Injun tore down some things, tore down an old dock, a church, or anything really, because there's nothing there except for the temples. And we see a lot of the island during the movie, so if there was European settlement, it's not going to be there. So let's look at theory 2 here, which is natural extinction. So let's just say they all just died randomly. Let's say it has nothing to do with the Quetzalcoatlus here, and they just all went out. They started aging, they didn't breed, there was diseases on the island, and slowly their numbers just took a toll and they started dying. We can say they had famine, we can say whatever. But I don't think so, because we say the civilization is from hundreds of years ago. But I don't believe it is. Look at the temple right now. This doesn't look as overgrown as it should. Because I'm not an archaeologist, but it's able to withstand Quetzas inside of it constantly. You can even see in the movie that Quetzas are barging into the pillars with their, hundreds of pounds of force, possibly thousands, hitting the pillars to no effect. If this was a ruined and abandoned building for multiple centuries, that pillar would have cracked, unless these are major engineers. And even if they're major engineers, why would that mean that they're going out of extinction? That wasn't scripted, because I'm not looking at the script right now. Hold up, my bad. And this would mean that they were intelligent, and they probably wouldn't have died to something as simple as famine. But let's look here for the main theory of the video. And it is this guy. This is our culprit. So this is the third theory, and I thought it was the darkest for the Jurassic universe and made the most sense. So it ties to InGen's ability to displace certain groups here. Because we know from the no longer canon Jurassic Park the game, we know that there was a group living on Isla Nublar who were all taken by the Costa Rican government and rehomed, even though they were all homeless by the time they got to Costa Rica, so that InGen could conduct their experiments. Ile Saint-Hubert is legally owned by French Guiana, meaning it's a French territory owned by France. And when INGEN came up to the French government like, hey, we looked at your island, we'd be really interested in leasing it for you. And they're like, yeah, sure. And instead of saying, but there are natives on the island that you'll have to deal with, they said nothing. And so, maybe they didn't care, maybe they had no idea, but then the first dinosaurs were created for Ile Saint-Hubert for the hybridization projects, and the Ketzali were still there, just being Ketzali and thriving amongst each other, until, let's just say, a big creature that inspired their name shows up into their temple and immediately just grabs and murders somebody. And it is none other than the Quetzalcoatlus himself. It is the largest flying animal in history, wingspan of 10 meters, and a beak that was strong enough to break every bone in Leclerc's body. Now, let's look at Leclerc here. Now, Leclerc is from French Guiana, and he died. Spoilers there. But, I mean, it's been 3 weeks. Have you not seen the movie? I've seen it 5 times already, and I really don't know what to say other than, yeah, that seems very plausible for these people, the Ketzali, just constantly being picked up, scooped, and eaten alive. Sooner or later, INGEN would have made more Quetzalcoatluses to make Mutodons and Quetzalmimus, I think, right here. And, I mean, if there was more Quetzalcoatluses, believe me, there'd be less Ketzalis. Now, I believe, personally, this is the most valid theory to explain why these temples are actually in very good condition here. And also to explain that they're not going to disappear from European settlement hundreds of years ago or die away hundreds of years ago. No, they were actively hunted and a new prey source for the Ketzali. And I really don't know what that says about Ile Saint-Hubert or INGEN or the French government. But we do know that eventually one Quetzalcoatlus would have eaten the last Ketzali, or the Ketzali would have left the temples and then been greeted by all the other strange animals that INGEN was making on that island. But there will be a separate video on what lies on Ile Saint-Hubert later next week. But for now, guys, this was my thought of the theory. I mean, nothing here should be taken seriously until proven canon, unless Gareth Edwards comments and likes the video, maybe subscribes if he feels ever so generous and says, I like where you're heading with this. This is going to be an in-universe explanation. But if that isn't true, this is all my headcanon. I think it makes the most sense. And, yeah. And if you wouldn't mind doing what the hypothetical Gareth Edwards in this scenario is doing, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You don't have to, but I'd appreciate it. Anyways, this is the end for Ile Saint-Hubert today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.